Hey everyone, it's Ysadora back again, and today I am going to be talking about sacrifice, specifically the use of sacrifice in spell work. So, pagans and witches get a pretty bad rap when it comes to public image in general. I mean, only recently I myself got banned from a certain platform because I sell witchcraft items. And so there's this ongoing negativity about the whole area, including and up to today. So, sacrifice is a particularly choice topic of people when they choose to attack witches, with tales of like children being snatched up and sacrificed in the dark to their big dark master, and screaming blonde virgins dying for their pure blood. Now, reality is actually far less sensational, as I'm sure a lot of you actually suspected. Sacrificing a spell doesn't mean like a small animal must die, because that whole idea doesn't actually make any logical sense. So a sacrifice, by definition, means a practitioner must give something up that is of value to them. It cannot be the life of something else. Most commonly this is actually blood, which is given up by the practitioner, or even like hair, nail clippings, things like that. So something personal of the practitioner to bind them to the spell, as well as something of value. Blood obviously is highly representative of the life force, so that is the one most commonly used because we are giving our own force, our own power to a spell. However, it's relatively easy to acquire, there is relatively small amounts of pain to get it, and it really adds to the sacrifice element. Combining blood in your spell work adds a little of yourself to it, and you can even use, for instance, menstrual blood is another way that you can actually use blood within your spell work. So it's easily obtained on a regular basis, and you don't even need to cut yourself for it. Pretty good, huh? So yeah, obviously there, no small animals, nothing else. But what about the virgins? This is where it gets really, really interesting. Virgin blood is often used in the really sensationalized view of the witch. So taking blood from a nubile young to fuel their dark workings. Obviously, the connection of purity and virginity tends to come from Judeo-Christian beliefs, and somewhere along the lines this kind of got tied up in witchcraft, which is really bizarre because we don't actually value the virgin in the same way because we tend not to be patriarchal, and that is a whole nother debate. In reality, virgin blood simply refers to blood collected freshly from the body. So this is direct from the source. It is virtuous because it's untouched, it's not mixed with any other element, so it's completely pure. This is where the idea of pure virgin blood comes from. Differs slightly from menstrual blood. For instance, menstrual blood tends to have contaminating elements and is less fresh, so that's why they tend to sort of specify virgin blood as being blood straight from the source. Now, when you're doing all those kinds of blood sacrifices in bits and pieces, you obviously have to be really careful about where you actually cut yourself for it, because you don't want to do any damage. Too many times we see in media and things like cutting fingertips or, cutting areas of the hand, like the palm of the hand. That's a really bad idea because there's a whole bunch of tendons and nerves that run through the palm of the hand. So you generally don't want to cut there, otherwise you're going to lose the use of your hand. The other one is like fingertips and things. I tend not to do that because they do tend to be, for one, they're like highly innervated. So that means that it hurts a whole lot more. I tend to not do that. What I tend to go for instance, is the heel of the hand. So somewhere that's really, really nice and meaty, where there's like quite a lot of blood and fat tissue over it, where you're not going to hit anything too badly. Other people I've heard of using inside the wrist, inside the arm, places like that. You don't want to go for it as well, because once again, this is where, okay, it's hugely vascular, but there's a reason people cut their wrists to die. So you're going to cause too much damage in there as well. So basically one of the best things to go for is, if you don't have access to needles and syringes to actually get blood out from the vein neatly, cut somewhere nice and meaty, somewhere where there's lots of muscle and fat, so you don't actually end up damaging too many things. So always practice safe sacrifice. Make sure you do it really carefully, and no small animals. Let the rats, let the cats, let everything just be. We don't like killing in these things because you're not giving up something that's of value to you. So thanks for listening today, and I will be back soon to talk a little bit more. Thank you for listening. Bye.